everyone. Welcome to FBC Radio Live. It is Wednesday. That's right. It's January 20th, 2021. And there's something going on today, Mike. I can't quite put my finger on it. There's something happening today that I can't quite remember, but I know there's something, Mike. Am I right? Am I onto something here?
I think you're right. I think I know what it is. I know what it is. Today, Morty Seinfeld is vacating Coral Gables, and he's now going to accept his new position at Del Boca Vista. So, we don't know. We don't know if he's going to be able to run as condo president down there. After all, there is some question about impeachment or resigning. I'm saying this, and it's amazing how life is imitating art, really. I mean, this is actually not too far off. I mean, you could take some of the hyperbole that I'm using here, plug it into the actual news story, and it kind of makes sense. It really does kind of make sense. But no, all kidding aside, it is Inauguration Day, folks. And, let's all try to remember whatever side of the political spectrum that you fall on. We know social media fans the fires in a lot of these. It's a new beginning and a new start for our country today. And despite how you feel about that, either way, on either side, let's try to come together. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to the new president-elect, or will be the new president in just mere hours, our new Madam Vice President as well. And, try to get behind the leadership to move forward as a country. There's still a pandemic out there that needs to be taken care of, and families and individuals are in economic turmoil right now. We need the leadership, and we need to work together in order to be able to combat this. And that's the only way it's going to happen. So I just hope people remember that today, and, be reverent to other people's feelings as well, and just try to move forward. That's the best that we can do at this point, is just to move forward. And,
of course, we can now begin the preparation for the Glendon debate ticket 2024. It's coming, folks.
Absolutely.
I will be
Glendon debate. Why the hell not?
Hey, yeah, exactly. That might actually be the slogan. Now, here's an.
I think that is going to be the slogan.
Now, here's an interesting question. Now, again, I turned 35 this year, so my eligibility kicks in to be president of the United States. And as far as we know, that's literally all the requirements needed to become president. If you want to run, it's just be 35 and born in the United States, and hey, I'm almost there. But here's the question. What would be our campaign music? Huh?
I'm thinking the DX theme.
As
you
simple,
think that you better.
As simple as that is, it's perfect. Just picture Inauguration Day. Lights go out. Green lights all over the White House. Then a little pyrotechnic show.
Yep.
And then here comes the new president and president-elect. That's right. That's right. You know what?
Yeah. Instead of the salute, you get the crotch chop.
Exactly.
Ian will be down on one knee posing with the pyrotechnics going on around him. I'll be sitting there with a bottle of water, spitting it out all over the place. It'll be great. It really will. It would be great. Imagine the inauguration ceremonies that we would have. They have like all the individual inauguration balls, and to tell you the truth, I really don't know if that's even going to happen tonight. I haven't read a whole lot of the manifest as to what's going to happen. I know COVID. I know that President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris are kind of they're playing it down a lot this year without any question.
Should,
but imagine like in 4 years, if this pandemic is lifted and we had the ability to like set this stuff up, what we'd have, we'd have like a WWE themed one, really, we'd have one dedicated to Steinfeld. We'd have one dedicated to 24, one for all the, the Brady yahoos to go and,
just say it, Mike. I know you want to say it. Go ahead. Cobra Kai. Go ahead.
Cobra Kai, absolutely.
I know you want to say.
I was trying. I'm trying not to lose you votes here. I'm trying not to run on the balanced ticket.
You'll be. It'll be hard because you'll be wearing the vice presidential gi.
The
which
vice
will,
presidential gi,
yeah.
absolutely, folks. That is
the
will.
second gi,
Yep.
as they call it.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I'll be changing gis like every single time. Like, oh, okay, well now he's wearing a white dinner jacket. Well, now he's wearing the black gi, George, and he's got the Cobra Kai logo on the back, and the other one had the Miyagi-Do logo. No, yeah.
Our presidency would certainly our administration rather would be defined by the use of wrestling music in any situation that we go.
Absolutely.
It doesn't even matter. I mean, how have we not? I mean, there's got to be a perfect context to be able to use this.
American dream. He's just a common man.
That's right. Campaigning in the Rust Belt, the Midwest.
I could see you coming into the State of the Union address playing that, and then of course when you're done, I mean, what better than Real American? I mean, come on. You would have to deliver the address, and then you'd have to sit there and pose for about 5 minutes, just doing the Hogan poses, listening to it with the ear.
Yeah, that's right. I love it. Folks.
The powers.
Oh man, folks, just if you're listening right now, and I appreciate you for hanging in there and continuing to deal with our nonsense, because clearly, we got nothing better to do than to.
How bad did the listenership fall off? I'm
actually,
the needle broke right off.
Excuse me. Actually, I think this is this is the beginning of our base. Actually, these are the people that are going to grow our campaign, because clearly it is starting now. The movement is starting now. But no, in all seriousness, we are starting our campaign. I'm not joking. This is serious. For the sole reason just to be able to use the music, and no, but obviously, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's great.
I thought you were going to. My apologies. I thought you were going to say something. No, look. We're obviously talking about inauguration day and everything like that, and we're having a little fun. And look, if there were ever a year that we would run for office, it would be 2024. Of all years. So it kind of is lining up. It's like when Jupiter and Mars line up perfectly, and everything is just all hunky-dory. But no, anyway, so obviously one president out, another president in. That is the day. It is also, as I mentioned yesterday and before, it is 20 years since I made my first varsity start as a freshman in high school as a goalie in hockey. So a little anniversary, a little eye-opening, and little bit of a realization that yes, I have gotten a tad bit older. So fun stuff. We got some news this morning though, my friend, and something that I think wasn't entirely unexpected, but there was still certainly some doubt, and that is Philip Rivers has officially called it a career. So one season in Indianapolis, obviously it ended in a playoff loss, but he had a pretty good season. Although again, I think we all kind of saw this coming. He's an older quarterback, and like I said, we don't consider Brady's an older quarterback, obviously, but he's in a realm of his own. This whole age thing apparently just doesn't matter to him. But Rivers decided to call it a career, and it was a really fine career. And this is where I'm going to start off with this, because I know this is obviously going to be a topic of discussion and certainly for a debate moving forward over the next few years, especially when all these quarterbacks in the class of 2004 start becoming eligible for the Hall of Fame, and that is Philip Rivers a Hall of Famer? And I've said it multiple times. I say no. I know some people are sitting there saying, wow, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think that's ridiculous. And this is not an insult to Philip Rivers, in my opinion. It's not a knock on him. I think he's a fine person. I know, obviously, you had some experience with that. I know you're going to get into that. But this is about excellence on the football field and as great of a career as he had, in my opinion, it's not a Hall of Fame career. And I know some people say, well, if you don't think that's a Hall of Fame career, then maybe Eli Manning. Well, I think there is debate about Eli Manning. Now, in Eli's favor, he has 2 Super Bowls. However, his career is kind of an enigma because no other quarterback, I think, I'll have to look specifically, but I don't feel like any other quarterback that has 2 Super Bowls had such a mediocre rest of his career. The longevity and mediocrity are unmatched, in my opinion. Let's put it that way with Eli Manning. So there's certainly a discussion. At the end of the day, I think he's going to get in because of the name and obviously the Super Bowls and who he beat in the Super Bowls. Phillip Rivers, I just don't think that he should. I know that might upset some Chargers fans and maybe some Colts fans, but I just don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. And that's not a knock on him. That's not to say he didn't have a really nice career. But, we talked yesterday with John Sapochetti, and we asked what I think is a legitimate question is, how secure is Drew Brees' Hall of Fame candidacy in terms of first ballot, what does he deserve, that, this, that, and the other? And, I brought up the idea that, well, outside of that one Super Bowl run, it was a lot of volume stats and mediocrity. Talked about 7 to 9 seasons, this, that, and the other. So I don't think that there's a huge difference between him and Phillip Rivers. I do think Brees is better than Phillip Rivers, and I do think Brees will ultimately get into the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying I think there's a discussion to be had whether or not his career was Hall of Fame worthy. And part of that, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm going to get to the main point here. Part of it was that when you looked at him against contemporaries playing at the same time, he probably lands about 4 or 5 on the list of quarterbacks. So then I ask you, where does Phillip Rivers lie? Well, it's below that. So are you willing to put in, say, the 7th or 8th best quarterback of a generation and call him a Hall of Fame player? I don't know if I am, because to me that kind of waters down the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe not everyone thinks the same way I do. Actually, I know a lot of people don't think the same way I do. I get in far too many arguments on Twitter to to think people actually think the way I do. But in this case, I think it's a legitimate discussion to have, and I don't want people to just casually throw out, oh, what a great Hall of Fame career. No, it was a great career. Let's discuss the Hall of Fame. That's why we have 5 years to discuss it.
Yeah, without question. Look, there is definitely in my opinion, there's definitely a conversation to be had here. And this is coming from someone that holds Phillip Rivers in pretty high regard, had the opportunity to cover him from 2017 to 2019 as I covered the Chargers. And look, there were very few athletes that have ever moved me the way he has, both what he did on the field and what he's done in his personal life. Phillip Rivers is that type of guy. Ironically, believe it or not, today is the 13th anniversary since Phillip Rivers played through a torn ACL against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Really fitting day for a legend to go out, I think. And, really, I think what he showed to me that day was toughness, grit, and things that, and this is long before I covered either the Patriots or the Chargers. He earned a lot of respect from me that day, and I really got a chance to see what Phillip Rivers was all about. Having the opportunity to have covered him in this realm, and given obviously the opportunity from you to work on the Chargers beat for a couple of years, I learned a lot more about him personally. And one of the things I was most moved about Phillip was in his personal life, his dedication to his wife Tiffany and their children, so much so that when the team moved from San Diego to Los Angeles, and this has been well publicized, this is not anything that I'm breaking or anything like that, Phillip made the decision to commute from San Diego to Los Angeles. He didn't want to uproot his family and cause any type of topsy-turvy or upheaval in their daily routine. He took it upon himself to do that. And you can say, oh, well, he's Phillip Rivers, he's got a lot of means, he can do that. But not a lot of guys would. And that's the whole thing that in a nutshell, and one of the things that I'll remember most about Phillip Rivers was the dedication that he had to his family. You talk about his Hall of Fame career and worthiness of being in the Hall of Fame. He does hold a couple of NFL records, single game completion percentage with a minimum of 20 attempts, 96.5. That's been broken by Drew Brees. So that was a former NFL record that he had. He did have the record for the highest completion percentage at 83.3 and a 400 plus yard passing performance. That's been since broken by Deshaun Watson, who, I got to be honest with you, if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'm throwing my hat into that arena. Who knows if they'll do that? But I mean, it's something that I think they'll really want to try to pursue. But I don't like the odds of Houston making that trade. But he does hold 3 NFL records currently. Record for consecutive completions, tied with both Ryan Tannehill and Nick Foles for 25. He did that in the course of the 2018 season. Touchdowns between a single quarterback and a tight end between he and Antonio Gates, 89, which could end up being broken by Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski if they keep playing at the level that they're playing. Who knows?
Well, Rob says he's coming back next year, so there's a chance.
He did, yeah, and we know Tom's coming back.
Yeah,
so,
Tom's going to play until the Biden's grandchild administration, so don't
absolutely
worry.
Until we're inaugurated vice president. That's when Tom will stop playing, because that's when Tom's going to move out of the country. He's going to know that we're really screwed. But that's when he's going to go, that's it, I'm done.
Yep, that's it.
That was it.
Out of here.
That did it. And the other NFL record that Phillip holds is consecutive games with a passer rating above 120, and that's 5 consecutive games. Look, without any question, Phillip Rivers has had a great career, like you said. Overshadowed a lot by the success that a lot of his peers had, particularly Tom Brady and Peyton Manning playing in the same conference. Any other, generation, and Phillip Rivers, I think, would have been probably one of the more indelible quarterbacks of his generation. But he was overshadowed by the greatness that was Tom Brady, and still is Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning as well. But he's an 8-time Pro Bowler. He has led the league in completion percentage. He's led the league in passing yards. He's been the passing touchdown leader in 2008. He's led the league in passer ratings. He's only done that once, though, in each of his career, and once a year in each of his records. In other words, he wasn't a multiple-time completion percentage leader or a passing yards leader. He did it once in his career, which is hard to do. No one is arguing that. But that may be what ultimately prevents his statistical case from making the claim of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He didn't lead his team to a Super Bowl. And for all the numbskulls that want to try to throw their little statistical jabs, or they want to, act like they're superior and snark police, particularly one in the Pittsburgh area that I'm not even going to get into right now. It is not even worthy of my mention. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. The people that want to start saying that wins do count. You play to win the game, and in order to win a football game, you as the quarterback need to put your team in a position to be able to make plays, to be able to get to a level, to be able to have kickers make kicks, to be able to have defensive players make defensive plays. You want to start playing the what-if game, you can play the what-if game about any quarterback, and I mean any quarterback in this league, whether it comes to positives or negatives. What-ifs are a part of the game. It's what you do between the what-ifs that makes you the quarterback that you are. And to me, I think Phillip Rivers had enough of those moments to warrant Hall of Fame consideration. I've covered Phillip. I'm probably a little bit biased. I would put him in. I say he's a second ballot. I don't say he's a first ballot because he didn't lead his team to a Super Bowl. But I think a lot of that was because he ran into the Brady Manning juggernaut that just absolutely was very difficult to crack at times. Los Angeles and San Diego both had formidable defenses in a lot of cases. Those teams had very, very good offenses. The defense that I covered, when I was covering the Chargers, when, it comes to, Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa and the guys that they had in the secondary were worthy of Super Bowl contention. And, it's just they weren't able to put that all together. And some of that was coaching, some of it, whatever you can make the argument. Phillip wasn't a perfect quarterback. I mean, he made his share of mistakes. He was interception prone. There were some times where he would tip his plays a little bit. But all in all, I think a fine career for Phillip Rivers. And I'll always have the utmost respect for him, whether he is enshrined in Canton or not. My guess is that he does get in eventually, but I agree with you. I don't think it's on the first ballot for the reasons that you mentioned.
Well, I just, like I said, I don't think it's going to happen in general because what you described was a really nice career and something where he should be enshrined in his team's Ring of Honor. They all have whatever it's called. I mean, every team it's different and whatnot. But that is worthy because you bring up the because I think the most impressive part about all of that was probably the connection with Antonio Gates, how good they were together. Because everything else, I mean, the completion percentage, the touchdown, like these little in-game records and stuff like that. That's nice, but even the people that you've listed that have broken it or have matched it. I mean, again, that to me is it's a nice accomplishment, but it's not Hall of Fame worthy. But like I said, we'll see, and this is why they have a 5-year waiting period. Because again, if people went to the booths tomorrow to go vote on Phillip Rivers because he retired today, then you're going to see a lot more emotional attachment. 5 years, generally, that's when you take a step back, you get out of the moment, and you all of a sudden you sit there and I think maybe you'll look back and say, okay, maybe. Again, my biggest thing is just the comparison to his peers. Like I don't think like 15 quarterbacks from the same era could get into the Hall of Fame. That kind of defeats the purpose. Then it becomes more and more about Hall of pretty good, and I think at this point that's where Phillip Rivers lands in my opinion because we talked, like I said, we talked about it yesterday. Brady, Manning, Rodgers. Breeze, maybe. I mean, again, I'm not officially putting Breeze at 4. I'm just saying that's kind of where I think he's going to fall in. And then you get to, maybe Russell Wilson. His career's kind of getting to that point now where you can kind of throw it into the mix in terms of longevity because he's played almost 10 years. Wilson and then Roethlisberger and I think he's better than Eli Manning for sure. But who knows how. History is going to view it because Eli won 2 Super Bowls and Eli was the first overall pick and Eli, you know what I mean? Eli had the name. So right now we're talking about a quarterback that's probably going to be viewed as maybe at best the 7th or 8th best quarterback of his generation. That to me is not a Hall of Fame career. And again, it's not, this is not meant as a knock on Phillip Rivers. I just think that I just couldn't do it. So who knows? But you know what I'm going to do, Mike? I'm going to tweet a poll because we can do that at FBC Radio Live on Twitter. Very simple. Phillip Rivers Hall of Famer. So check it out. Let us know what you think because I'm sure we're going to talk about this more. And I think we've learned that Ben Roethlisberger plans on coming back. I don't blame him. I mean, he has 41 million reasons to come back for another season.
It's a hell of a motivation, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Drew Brees, I mean, it's not official yet, but, again, this is something that I don't think anyone doubts is going to happen. And then you have Tom Brady, who just keeps playing, and he'll never stop playing. So, no, look, it's pretty remarkable, and I don't always like to bring everything back to Tom. I guess I do, but in this case, it's actually relevant because again, he's one of the 4 quarterbacks that are still playing right now. So it is remarkable, though, when you think about it. You think about all these players: the Peyton Mannings, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger. All those guys that have been playing since the early to mid 2000s. Talking about those 3 guys came along in 2004. Obviously Brady started in 2001 starting in 2001. Brady's going to outlast all of them and by quite more than just a nose too. I anticipate that I would imagine next season would be Ben Roethlisberger's last season. That would be my guess. If he's already committed to coming back next year, I think that's going to be it. I think that'll be the last attempt. I mean, that's the end of his contract, all that stuff. I think Tom plays beyond next year. I don't know. And look, folks, this has nothing to do whether or not they win a Super Bowl. Winning a Super Bowl does not change whether or not he retires. I don't think he's going to win a Super Bowl and then go home and be like, you know what? I think it's enough. No, if he wins a Super Bowl in a few weeks, he will come back next year and want to win another. And I fully believe that he will want to do it yet again the following year. So I think it's one of the most incredible things, really. And this is something we're going to look back at years from now and just be like, how did he outlast all these players? And look, there's a good chance he could potentially outlast Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, to me, I don't think he's a guy who necessarily wants to play long past 40. I don't, you know what I mean? It's not a knock on him. I mean, you have to kind of be a little bit of a maniac to want to keep doing this at 43 years old. I mean, and it's not just about going out and playing every Sunday. It's about everything that goes in, that's involved in preparing and being involved in an NFL season. You have to be a bit of a psycho. Let's be honest, Mike. Let's be clear. I mean, Tom is he's a maniac. You know what I mean? And fortunately for us, there's a avenue in which he can channel all that lunacy, and that's football. So to me, I mean, it's it would be incredible. It's already incredible the number of players he has outlasted, and it could be more. And look, if he keeps playing the way he did this season, I don't blame him if he wants to keep playing. I mean, he knows, he understands that this is it. You know, you stop playing, that's it. You know, you're not going to go play pickup football. You're not going to play rec league football. They just don't have that. You know what I mean? This isn't a baseball softball league. You know, maybe he can go play flag football if he wants. Tom, if you're listening, man, give me a call. I got some good flag football connections down here in Tampa. So if you want to get together, start a team, let me know. Maybe we can do that, but it might be for a couple years. It'll be enough time to put it that way.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Mike, you're invited on the team too, so start working out.
Oh, you kidding me? The shape I'm in, they donate my body to science fiction. You know. Oh. Yeah, the quarterback in my high school, he was tough. You know, they sucked the quarterback. They went after his family.
just when I was getting ready to find that one, it was good. But
I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
No. So, anyways, look, awesome career for Phillip Rivers. I'm not taking. I mean, I am taking things away from it, I guess, but it's not meant to downplay it. It's just more in my opinion and what I think should be.
No,
true.
and look, you will find a lot, and I'm sure that you will find a lot of company in that regard. I think there were a lot. You know, you look at Twitter and you're looking at some of the opinions. Some people's whose opinions I respect an awful lot agree with you. Some people's whose opinions I don't respect an awful lot agree with you too. But we won't get into that. I think there is a case to be made for Phillip Rivers' Hall of Fame worthiness. Whether or not, I'm not saying it's a slam dunk. I'm not saying absolutely put him in. What are you, crazy? There's no chance of it. I mean, there were no all pros on his resume. His playoff record was shaky at best. And those things factor in. I'm sorry, they do factor in. So, you hear. I mean, I've heard Jim Kelly thrown around a little bit this morning as a
Jim Kelly with the
comparison. Say what you will about Jim Kelly and some of he did have an All Pro on his resume, going to 4 straight Super Bowls. And, running into the Dallas Cowboys most of those times is not something that, a player should deserve a whole lot of, blame and disdain for. So, there's definitely an argument there. And like I said, I do believe Phillip will eventually get in. But to say he's a first ballot, even I would say that's a stretch coming from someone that has a good amount of admiration for the guy.
Yeah, and we'll see. We'll have, this discussion will become a little bit more, it'll become more front and center a few years down the road. And look, I mean, obviously this is a it's relevant too because we are awaiting or we don't know the results yet. It is being kept under lock and key, but the Hall of Fame committee voted on who will ultimately be the class of 2021 yesterday, and given the circumstances of how this had to take place over Zoom as opposed to in person right before the Super Bowl, there is a secrecy as to who's going to get out, because they're hoping to announce all this as they normally do the night before the Super Bowl. So we will learn about who the class will be at that point, assuming that these little tidbits don't get trickled out. They're going to try their best to hide all this information from us for about 2 weeks, but it'll be interesting to see. We talked yesterday. Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, probably the two locks that you can easily say, yeah, no, those two guys are definitely getting voted in. And then at that point, then you try to figure out who comes after that. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, when we get down to it, when it comes around to it, and we're having these discussions about the class of 2004 and all these quarterbacks and stuff like that, maybe his career will age better, over time. Maybe we'll get a little bit better perspective on it, or maybe people will see it more as to how I see it, and we'll see. And then I'll rub it in your face, Mike. I'll rub it in your face. No, I'm just joking. We'll be too busy running our administration.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, if you take a look at the Twitter feed, folks, or my specific Twitter feed, Ian and I already have our inauguration outfits ready to go. Take a look on my Twitter feed, you'll see it. The FPC Radio Live, I believe, is going to be retweeting this imminently, so that way you can see it. Yeah, they're all set. These are going to be inauguration 2024. This is going to be how Ian and I are all decked out. This is great stuff right over here. You can see it, and we're putting it out there right now. There it is, FPC Radio Live. Just retweeted that, so check out our Twitter account here on FBC Radio Live, and you'll see it.
Let's just put it this way. When we move into the White House, all ringtones will be changed to 24 ringtones. Boop, 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 boop. Everything. Yep. Everything.
That is actually my ringtone on my phone.
That was my ringtone for years, and I've been too lazy to update my new phone that I got months ago.
That is actually my ringtone. Every single time I update my phone, I have to update that ring. And thank the great people at Apple, because they continue to use this ringtone, so that way I can use it.
It's fantastic.
It's great stuff. Yeah,
it
really is.
I remember,
and it's good. It sounds official. It sounds grown up. I don't sound like the the juvenile fool that I truly am. It's great. It really is.
We're not adults. We're not men.
No, we're not men.
Yeah, I had that. I think they put that, or I was able to put that ringtone on my Razr phone. Because again, as we all know, 24 made phones cool. Charles Logan had the Razr phone, and it was devious. It was you saw the Razr phone, you're like, wow, something fishy's going on, and that's what I had. But had that ringtone, it was great. And then obviously with the iPhone, you can put whatever the hell you want on it. But yeah, that was a good one, and we will certainly do that, as well as implement many other things. And look. At the end of the administration, Mike and I will do an infomercial and try to sell our CD box set that encompasses the entire administration. A little get this 3 CD set with 20,
which is essentially
songs.
Just like exactly 80s music and just that type of stuff. Of course, my album cover will become the new presidential seal.
Robert Tepper. I don't know.
Absolutely. There's no easy way out.
That'll certainly be a montage work video that we put together and publicize. Like commercial wise, we'll just be sitting around working diligently with that song going on in the background. It'll be great. I'm so glad there's an avenue for us to channel these thoughts and not just like sit there and in your own room and think about it by yourself, because I think that could be dangerous. This way we can at least put some legitimate plans together, so we can hit this. So let's get back on track here, Mike, because we only have about 15 minutes left. We've been talking about our potential presidential run in 2024, and we'll certainly keep you apprised as to the updates as to what's going on there. But we do have conference championship weekend coming up, and not surprisingly, and we didn't get really too much into this yesterday. We had a very good conversation, or I had a good conversation with John while Mike sat there and made sure that we didn't kill each other. we knew it was going to come. We knew there was going to be the narrative-driven discussions out there about, wow, Aaron Rodgers, what can this do for his legacy versus Tom's? And it's stop. Just stop. Stop. I spend far too much time, and I admit, I spend far too much time talking to people on Twitter that really don't know what the hell they're talking about. And I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I don't think I'm... People think I'm smart, Mike, but I'm not. I'm really
Who says you're smart?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I say I'm
I had
smart.
to. I'm sorry.
I say I'm smart, Mike. No. So look, so I'm not sitting here trying to turn my sit here. Oh, I'm a bet. No, it's when you try to make arguments such as or you ask questions like, whose legacy does a win impact more in this game? Tom Brady's or Aaron Rodgers? Well, that's stupid. That is a dumb question. That's not a matter of opinion. That's a dumb question because the answer is very clear, and it's meant to get cheap pops and cheap reaction to it. And look, it's lazy. Come on, really? Let's stop trying to force this issue because it's forced. It's the same way as saying, looking at the totality of their careers and saying, well, despite everything Tom Brady has done, I think Aaron Rodgers is a better playoff No, he is not. Don't give me .08 EPA or COPD and XLFL rating and all this BS because all it is numbers. And if you were paying attention to my timeline yesterday, I had one particular conversation with someone who fully admitted that they or claimed. And get this, Mike, and I don't know if you saw this, and I hope the listeners get a kick out of this. Claimed that the eye test, or watching the actual game...
I knew you were going to bring this up.
...is not a great way of evaluating quarterback, and I just about lost it. I gave up, but my psychosis in me brought me right back eventually. I got back into the conversation. But I was floored. I was floored at the thought process, and this isn't unique to everyone because, again, the basis of the argument centered around him, this person, and it's not unique to him because it happens all the time. Just passing off wins as nothing. Oh, wins are not a quarterback stat. No, they are. They are. Whether you like it or not, they are. And if you start any sort of argument about who's a better quarterback and you sit there and completely disregard that and chalk it up to nothing, then, again, you're never going to win the argument because it clearly shows that you have a lack of understanding about the entire sport. But this continued attempt to just force feed Aaron Rodgers' career into the GOAT conversation is maddening. We've got a little bit of a reprieve from it because, hey, you can only eat one thing at a time, and you gotta feed people Patrick Mahomes for the time being. We knew this was coming, though. We knew. I think we probably said it to each other the moment this game became official. All these nut jobs are going to come out with these discussions. Whose career will this help more? I don't care if Tom Brady loses 45-0. His career is set in stone. Can it help Aaron Rodgers individually? Absolutely. Another Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers would be great. It would work for him individually. Will it do anything to further bring him closer to Tom Brady's GOAT status? Absolutely not. Not a single thing will be gained by Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl.
But that's not what they would have.
No. But that again, relative to Tom Brady's success as the GOAT. So it's silly, folks. The point is, numbers are great. I know there's a lot of stat heads out there, and they want to pretend like this is baseball, but there's far too many situational occurrences that aren't the same. There's far too many nuances in the game of football that using a singular number to make a definitive claim that literally goes against every conventional thought. I mean, if people were to look at just the scope of both players' career, they would come away impressed by both, but clearly looking at Tom's and saying, well, yeah, I mean, this guy was a lot better. Let's put it this way. Tom Brady has gone to more championship games, NFC now, AFC, NFC championship games, and Super Bowls than Aaron Rodgers has played playoff games in his entire career. 22. 22. That is absurd. And for instance, this will be Rodgers' 6th coming up this weekend. He has the 4 NFC championship games, the Super Bowl, and now this. So, and that's coming from a player that has arguably one of the greatest careers ever for a quarterback. So, if you're resorting to picking out a couple statistics that, again, no number can perfectly or encompass everything that goes on into a football play. You can sit here and say, oh, well, it takes down and distance into account and it takes situation, but does it take specifically situations? Okay, it's in the Super Bowl. All right, you're down. You need 2 scores with 2 2-point conversions, and you make these throws on the sideline. They don't account for that. That's just a conversion in the eyes of statisticians. So where's the nuance? Where's the context to that? There is none. So folks out there, if you're sitting there and your claim to fame or your argument is, hey, this guy has a less than a 1/10 of a percentage point higher EPA or his pass rating is this or his QBR is 0.5 points higher, I don't give a bleep about that. Okay? That means nothing because you can make any number say whatever the hell you want it to say. Let's be real. You just have to pick and choose the right ones to complement each other or contradict each other, however you want to go about it. And you can say whatever you want and just ignore everything else. So I don't know how I kind of...
Well,
I was dealing with this yesterday. It was just
and I know, and believe me, I've seen the battles that you've been fighting, and believe me, you fight the good fight, my friend. It amazes me where these pillars of the intellectual community just seem to find you and gravitate towards you. But whatever, that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, it is. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time, I guess. But statistics are the opiate of the football masses. Let's face it. I mean, you're going to latch on to statistics if the great moments and the ultimate, goal of every football player, the wins, the success, are not there. That's what you're going to latch on to. And you'll latch on to it, and you'll make the argument, and you'll make yourself try to seem highbrow or above anyone else or statistically superior. Use your eyes, use your common sense. That claim about the eye test being the worst way to evaluate the quarterback
that might be the worst point ever.
is like saying yeah, I'm going to buy a car, but I don't have to see it. All I have to know is the ignition timing, and I'm good with that because that's going to be the key thing. I mean, you could
when my father was shopping for a car, he'd be gone for weeks at a time. It'd be like he'd be on a campaign trail.
Exactly. And I mean, it's nice dynamite dropping it like that. But in any case, I mean, it's, you use your eyes, you use your common sense. I'm sorry. Tom Brady has more of those moments, more of those successful big time clutch moments than anyone else. And that's what makes him the greatest quarterback of all time. He's done it consistently for 20 seasons. And when you have the success record that he's had, and for everybody that wants to say, oh, he's lucky, or the luckiest quarterback of all time, a couple of individual numbskulls that really needs to have their heads clunked together by Mo. And one of them really a little bit more than that. And I'm not talking about the guy that used to be on FS1. I'm not talking about the more famous of the two. Regardless of what you're
talking about the guy who got fired for sending racial tweets, right? Scott Kazmar. Right. Okay.
I'm not gonna name any names. I'll name
names. I mean, anyone out there who knows the guy shouldn't have any respect for him. I mean, he's basic. I mean, there's a reason he got fired, and I'm not going to sit here and mince words with it. I mean, he had some very, very offensive tweets, and his character kind of plays into it. So I'll name the names. Mike.
Well, you know what? Just show me your company, show me who you are, show me what you do behind closed doors, and that really reveals exactly what kind of a human being that you are. Look at those tweets, folks, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. But you know what? I digress. I'm not going to sit here and attack anyone any further. With regard to an opinion like that, to try to sit there and to say that luck factors into every decision, or I base it on facts. No, you don't. You're basing it on bias. You're basing it on hatred, and you're basing it on the fact that he probably ruined one of your Super Bowl parties or one of your, maybe it was, exactly. So, use your eyes, use your common sense at what these guys do. Look, and bottom line, we're not even talking about what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron's had one of the better seasons in recent memory. Definitely the best season from a quarterback this year, I think, from start to finish. And he deserves the MVP. This is a game I've been looking forward to for quite some time. For some reason, it just never lived up to the hype when the Patriots and the Packers would play in the regular season. But this is the NFC Championship game. We're not going to get it in the Super Bowl, which would be even better if that were the case, but we're going to get it to go to the Super Bowl. And what an amazing, amazing game this is going to be between two phenomenal quarterbacks. I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah, and we're going to definitely dive more into the X's and O's starting tomorrow, because our time here is done and we spent a majority of it talking about our potential run in 2024. But real quick update. So far, 61% agree with you about Phillip Rivers being a Hall of Famer. So far, it's early. I'm gonna storm.
Oh yeah, still a ways to go.
And if I lose, I'll just accuse the votes of being faked and fraudulent. So it is what it is. I learned from the best, and by the best I mean the worst, and by the worst I mean Trump. And see you, Trump. Adios. But no, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. We're like I said, tomorrow we're going to jump back into more of the X's and O's of these two great games coming up. And then, of course, Friday, hopefully, John will join us again, and we'll once again kind of dive in and give our predictions and everything for the weekend. So have a great day. Enjoy your Wednesday. Go out. Have some fun. Be safe. Be healthy. And be sure to tune in sharp at 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Have a great day, folks. We'll talk to you then.